going to be discussing the U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry's visit to Egypt and his meeting with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, where President Sisi said that Egypt will adopt a neutral stance while hosting UN climate conference COP27 set to be held in Sharm el-Sheikh next November, pointing that Egypt will put into consideration the priorities and stances of all parties. And to know more on the significance of this visit, we're glad to be joined over the phone by Dr. Wafik Noseir, Member of Parliament for Environment, for the International Parliament for Environment. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
How are you, sir? John Kerry is on a current visit to Cairo to discuss the upcoming COP27 and, of course, discussing climate-related issues. How has the impact of climate change been evident in the past few years, in your opinion, sir?
Well, the new U.S. administration is doing a lot of effort, actually, regarding the climate change, and John Kerry in particular is doing his best because as you was asking about the past 2 years or the past, let's say, not just 7 years since the Paris Agreement in 2015, and we didn't see any progress about the climate change, yes, especially with previous U.S. administration. So nowadays we hope that there will be achievement this time in November in Sharm el-Sheikh after what happened in Glasgow. In Glasgow there was no much achievement. So we have seen that Alok Sharma was very sad of not doing what he expected.
Sir, Kerry stressed U.S.'s confidence in Egypt's leadership of next climate summit and its keenness on boosting cooperation between the two countries. How do you see this and your take on that, sir?
Yes, of course, the U.S. is participating with Egypt in first of all, getting a success in historical success. Let me say, if it will happen in Sharm el-Sheikh, and of course there are a lot of projects agenda that Egypt is preparing towards the sustainable development and the green economy that the U.S. would share in this project. Mm-hmm. But what we are expecting, not just the U.S. sharing, yes, but actually the U.S. could help Egypt in getting other countries sharing and agree as well.
Yes. Well, sir, who are the biggest bearers of the impacts of climate change?
The impact is very huge, and nowadays we are not just speculating about unrealistic actions, but there are a lot of evidence that the climate change is man-made, and it has a lot of devastating effects on the environment. Yes. We have seen the floods, we have seen the ice melting in the North and the South Poles, we have seen the forest fires and desertifications and less of fresh water in many areas. And a part of that, or as a result of all what we have seen, nowadays the UN is discussing a new term for immigration. It's called environmental immigration, not political immigration. So that's what happened actually in the world nowadays.
Yes. Sir, how far do you think cooperation between Egypt and the U.S. on this file push international efforts on climate change?
Yeah, this is very important actually. We hope that the U.S. Will encourage China and India and other very powerful countries in Europe to participate. And their participation is not just to agree about the lowering of emissions, but to agree on the funds that's supposed to be done by those powerful countries, and this fund was indicated in 2015 in Paris by $100 billion a year.
Yes.
So far, we haven't reached this amount yet.
Yes. Sir, how can Egypt's hosting of COP27 highlight the plight of Africa, the worst continent actually affected by the negative impacts of climate change?
Yeah, Egypt, I hope that the Ministry of Environment are keen now to make a success in this conference, in this very important international conference actually. And Egypt is leading the world, the African countries and also the Arab countries for the effects of climate change that happened, and we are expecting the rich countries to share in this effect and to clear lots of it. Will it be, the question now, will it be a historical conference in November in Sharm el-Sheikh, and the success will be repeated in Emirates COP28, or we'll start over again in Emirates in COP28? It's very early to predict the answer of this question yet.
Yes, well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Wafik Noseir, environmental expert. And dear viewers, now we go to some of our special reports. And our report is on choosing Egypt as one of the African countries to produce coronavirus vaccines, according to WHO. More details.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi expressed his appreciation that Egypt would be among the first African countries to receive vaccine manufacturing support from the World Health Organization's